in this section, I want to talk about a phrase, it might be a bit of jargon, called top slicing. I'm going to explain what it is so you understand it. But it's become a real more important policy change with lenders this year. And the reason it's come to the fore, and the reason I want to mention it so that you guys understand that it's out there as an option, so you don't get a little too disillusioned, maybe dismayed when you're trying to borrow extra money, you're trying to release equity, you're trying to capital raise, or you've got a finite amount of deposit and you're trying to purchase a buy-to-let, and you're being told by the lender that the rental income isn't there, the affordability isn't there, and you're going to have to put more deposit in, or you can't capital raise to the amount you want. You thought you wanted £20,000 to £30,000, and the lender's saying we can only release you £2,500, a fraction of what you wanted, and you're starting to feel a little disillusioned. This is where top slicing comes in. So, what it is essentially a set of rules that allows the underwriter, in these circumstances where the rent is lower and doesn't quite service the debt. So the mortgage borrowing is up here, and the rent, as we know, is rising this year, but quite often now the rents are not in parity with the mortgage debt. So the rent isn't covering the mortgage debt at a set interest rate. There's a gap, there's a shortfall, which is why you're getting this bad news from the lender. So what the underwriter is allowed to do when top slicing is within the policy of these lenders is to look at your earned income. So let's say you've got a trading business, or let's say you are salaried, you go on PAYE, you've got separate income. The underwriter looks at your earned income and sees if you've got disposable income. So let's just put the property to one side for a second. They look at your salary, look at your income, look at your outgoings as an individual, nothing to do with the property, and calculate what residential debt you've got. Have you got a residential mortgage? Have you got personal credit card debt or loans? And the underwriter deducts these outgoings from your salary and tries to take a view on whether you've got some disposable income. And if they believe you have, well, here's the thing. You get the extra borrowing because the underwriter now adds the disposable income to the rent. So the rent gets artificially inflated, and all of a sudden, this new rent figure can service the debt that you're wanting. So it's a sidestep to the issue that many, many landlords have got, that the rental income does not service the debt. And this is how top slicing can come in and save the day. So it's now been embraced by many lenders. I did a calculation, a count just in the last few days, preparation for this. And there's over 30 lenders, 30 buy-to-let lenders now offering this top slicing. So this is really important. If you're using a broker in an estate agency, and they mainly do residential mortgages and dip the toe occasionally at doing the odd buy-to-let, it would not surprise me if they've never heard of top slicing. They're not that familiar with it, or they find it complicated and they avoid it, or they're a bit lazy. So the first lender didn't offer top slicing, you've not got the borrowing you want, and they're not quite sure where to go to as a plan B. Then you want to be using a broker that really understands the buy-to-let market, understands that top slicing is an option for many of our landlords, particularly in 2023, when you might be struggling to get the borrowing that you want for that purchase, as I said, or refinance. So if any of this resonates with you, if you want to talk to the team, there'll be a link to our diary, book on there, it's free, have a chat, they'll give you the feedback, they'll give you absolute solid advice, independent mortgage advice to allow you to make a decision, and hopefully we can assist in that regard.